Hello and welcome to episode 311 of the Heart of Markness Led Zeppelin podcast. How you doing? I am Mark. If this is your first time here, what I do is every week I play selections from a different live recording of Led Zeppelin or Led Zeppelin adjacent projects and kind of talk about, give a little context, what was going on at the time, things to listen for in the music, say, hey, listen to when Jimmy does this, etc., etc. And then, we're on our way. What you can do is you can go to heartofmarkness.com, look up the episode that you're listening to, 311 in this case, and download the entire recording, not just the selections I play, but the entire recording that I take the selections from. And that's how we do. And tonight's selection, it's 3 in the afternoon where I am, is July 20th, 1973, Led Zeppelin playing Boston, Massachusetts, for the last time. Boston was a big, big town for Zeppelin. The local cool radio station, WBCN, gave them a lot of support back when they first came out, and their DJ, J.J. Jackson, of MTV fame later on, remained a friend of the band up through the Nebworth concerts, where he did an interview with Jonesy and Robert afterward, and through the MTV days, where he would be able to talk to Robert and punch through that shell of defensiveness that Robert had the first decade of his solo career. So, cool beans. This is the last time they're playing Boston because, well, the crowd is rowdy. The crowd is so rowdy that the band doesn't play Misty Mountain Hop, Since I've Been Loving You, or Moby Dick. The crowd is crazy, and they're keeping it under control, barely, but they did it and split. They did a whole lot of love, no encores, none of that stuff. Here is the set list. Here's what they did play. Rock and Roll, Celebration Day, Black Dog, Over the Hills Far Away, No Quarter, The Song Remains the Same, The Rain Song, Full Dazed and Confused, Stairway to Heaven, Heartbreaker, and then Whole Lot of Love with the Crunge, Boogie Chillin', Thank You, and the medleys, Dunga 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 Da Da. And then Good Night. It's a unique concert. It is a very good concert. July 73 Zeppelin is pretty awesome. Boston definitely gives good energy. It was just a little out of control that time. And then by 1975, the tickets, I believe, went on sale for the 75 tour. Something in my brain is screaming February. I don't know if that's true or if that was when the concert. Anyway, whenever the tickets went on sale, and this is back in the days where you'd actually go to the box office and wait and get them, it was freezing in that beautiful way that northern New England can be in the winter. And the establishment took pity and compassion on those idiot teenagers in their denim jackets and jeans and their hands in their pockets and their shoulders shrugged up against the cold and let them into the Boston Garden to chill. Now, what happened was they trashed the place. They went fucking berserk and trashed the place. And then Mayor Kevin White, who was mayor when I moved there in 1979 as a youth, banned Led Zeppelin from the city because of the actions of their fans. Bullshit action, yes, but it was also bullshit on the part of the fans. But it wasn't Zeppelin's fault on that. It was the fine people of Boston. So, okay, there is the background. That's why you'll feel it a little wild tonight. Robert spends some time telling people not to crush, not to move up front. Not give people room, everybody be cool. But it was a little too much and a little too wild, so this is their last time in Boston. The first song I'm going to play for you, and remember, you can go to heartofmarkness.com and get that whole set list, like I said. First song I'm going to play for you is just a quick jump in the pool, get used to the water. Celebration Day, the second song of the tour, played in earlier tours in 1971, played on the double neck, and in this case, nope, it's the good old Les Paul. Celebration Day, July 20th, 1973. Here we go.
She was pretty soon,
Lovely, lovely, lovely. Robert, not in the strongest voice, but it's the beginning of the concert, and he'll warm up. Wild crowd, horrible venue, the Boston Garden, awful acoustics, as you could hear with the booming, echoey bass and Robert's voice. It's a shitty venue, the old Boston Garden. Great for basketball, not great for acoustics. Still pretty badass, and the wild crowd barely being held in check by the band, which is why they did not have any encores at this show, or as I think I mentioned earlier, no Since I've Been Loving You or Misty Mountain Hop or Moby Dick. All to keep the pot from boiling over, because it was close. All because Boston's a wild town, and they love their rock and roll. Having lived there, I know that. Yeah, never mind. That's why, like the Black Crowes and Jimmy, when they did their short tour in '99, it was L.A., New York, probably one other place, and Worcester, Massachusetts, because Worcester is outside of Boston. The Worcester Centrum there, great venue, better than the Boston Garden, and a guaranteed sellout. Okay, this is the Joe Maloney version, the Joe Maloney recording of this show. I had the brand new Herb S first gen that KRCW_CO released on Dime this week or last week, but not as good quality. I grabbed it and I was going to use it, and it sounded okay for No Quarter, but I only listened to the quiet parts of No Quarter, and as soon as anybody else came in, forget it. So we went back to Joe Maloney, Shoeless Joe Maloney, as he's called, or Sleepy Joe, whatever. Now we are going to listen to a song, a lovely song, in fact, by Led Zeppelin, of all people. No shit, really, Mark? Yes. I'm going to play one I don't usually play, which is Stairway, because it's Stairway. But this solo and this performance is superlative. It is great. Solo's amazing. Badass. So let us listen to it. Stairway to Heaven, ladies and germs. July 20th, 1973. Well, there you have it. That's why I played it, even though it's the most overplayed song on earth, because it happened to have an incredible solo. So I shared it with you. You are welcome. You can find this podcast anywhere you can find podcasts except Spotify, which you know because you found this podcast. But did you know that I also have a Facebook group, Heart of Markness, with almost 400 people in there that like to talk Led Zeppelin and classic rock? Join up. It's free. It don't cost nothing. I'm on Blue Sky as Heart of Markness, Instagram, Heart of Markness, X, Heart of Markness. There's a theme running through this. Heartofmarkness.com that I mentioned earlier. And YouTube, Heart of Markness. All those places. I also have merchandise, which you should buy because you love to buy shit. And it is merchofmarkness.com. T-shirts, coffee cups, coasters, mouse pads, stickers galore. All for your consumption. And all of this nonsense is thanks to the Titans upon whose shoulders rests this humble yet mighty podcast, and I am talking, of course, about my patrons. Patreon.com/heartofmarkness if you want to get a couple more shows a month just for you. And a Laurel and Hardy handshake go out to Ryan, John, Gary, Keith, Tilda, Steve, George, Big Ed, Kenny, Picard, Jeff, welcome back, Jeff, Wayne, Brad, Danielle, Tracy, Other and Supreme David, reminding you to get your colonoscopy if you're of an age. Don't fuck around. Get it done. Bonzo, Billy, and Mimo. Page 2. S.E. Olson, Holy Flash, Don, Marvin, Black Dragon, Keld, Mario C., Lance, and Rob from Melbourne, Australia. Thank you very much. Guys, I love you. You keep things going here. You keep the lights on here. And you keep me honest. Thank you very, very much for your support. All right. Oh, I should apologize. I should have opened with an apology. This show is 2 days late. I was gone for the weekend. For Easter weekend. I was with some friends out of town. And I planned on having this podcast done yesterday, which would have been Monday, but the day just got away from me. So apologies, but here it is. Hooray. All right, here endeth the spiel, I think. What else do we have? Ah, yes, I've got one more for you guys. And it is a doozy, and it is a wonderful, wonderful performance of No Quarter that presages the one a week later, or the ones a week later in Madison Square Garden that were recorded for The Song Remains the Same movie and record. So, No Quarter, usually a banger. 73, almost definitely a banger. July 73, guaranteed a banger. And this is, in fact, a banger. Ladies and germs, No Quarter. Enjoy it and go.
She's side by side with that. The devil mocks them every step. Hey, sit down! The snow dries back to foot snow. The dogs of doom are howling low. Carry steel as by the train to build a dream. Chernobyl synthesized piano. Really, I tell you, we've done a lot of concerts, we've played to thousands of people. A lot of people are cool in as much as they understand that there's people who really want to enjoy the concert behind them. So why don't you just cool it a bit? Huh? Every time we come in, cool it. I know how it feels, but it's still got to cool it. This is another track from House of the Holy. It's full of song remains the same.
He knows how it feels, but you still gotta cool it. See, it's some of that Boston charm. Super aggro, right on the edge of Berserker. So you can see why they truncated the concert. They appreciate the enthusiasm, but it's too much. It's turning into assholeness. Well, there is our show. I hope you liked it. That No Quarter was amazing. Bonzo, always amazing. Jimmy, of course, amazing. Jonesy, everybody was amazing in that song. So beautifully executed. 73 is a good year for that song. I hope you liked hearing what I had to play and what I had to say. And don't forget, if you want this show, go to heartofmarkness.com, download this. It is the 2448 version, FYI. And if you don't know what that means, it's okay. You don't need to know. It'll still play fine on your computer. It just means it's better. It's higher quality. So go there, avail yourself of it. And if you need to contact me about anything directly for some reason, mark@heartofmarkness.com is a good place to reach me. Other than that, I hope you come around next week, and I hope you are good to yourself and each other, and bye-bye.